I see you got the VR back there.
Which one?
Well, I don't know. I'm talking.
Oh, Josh. Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
hey, yeah.
Sorry, Josh. I thought that was your name, and I didn't want to. I was pretty sure it was, but I want to make sure because when all you deal with is people screen names, I was like, I'm pretty sure his name was Josh. But anyway, yes, Josh, that's cool, man. You like it?
I do. I don't play it nearly enough, but
I have it right over there too.
yeah.
Well,
I
I
have another one here.
All
I have another one over there, and another one over there.
Sorry, I'm gonna show the guest a little bit of interest here.
Eric's just showing off right now. That's all it is.
No,
right? I know.
I like VR.
Yeah, I know. I need to play it,
but I like it.
This lady I work with is like, I mean, I hate to be mean, but I mean, she's pretty white trash. She lives in like a single wide trailer, and like they're very super white trash. And she has like the dopest VR, like whatever the Oculus Rift or whatever. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, do you want to borrow it? I'm like, borrow it? Yeah, you want to try it out? I'm like, nah, I'll just get my own. Like, I don't want to borrow your. I mean, fuck, if I break this shit, I'd rather break my own shit.
And there's a lot of sweat with VR.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that too. That was the first thing I thought about is you're kind of gross.
Yeah. Hygiene is a bit of a thing.
Well, and then she instantly went into like, hey, can you get porn on this? I'm like, I don't know, man. You need to Google that. Like,
you can get porn on anything.
Of course, yeah.
Right. But I was like, I'm sorry, we're not gonna be like porn pals here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole with you. I mean, I don't know, maybe, possible. That was just like out of nowhere too. Like, what porn? We were talking about video games.
A coworker too? Is that what you said?
What?
How do you know her?
Oh, she's a coworker.
Yeah, that's even weirder, right? Yeah, like if she's a neighbor.
No,
less weird.
It
like,
was bordering on sexual harassment, sort of. I mean, I don't care.
That's
but
my point. Yeah.
It's both been reversed, and I was like, hey, do you think I can get porn with this?
Yeah,
like that could come off very bad. But I mean, being that it's,
borrow this thing that I watched some porn on.
Right? Yeah.
I left some good videos there for you.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. But thanks, though. Yeah, it was really weird, but I don't know.
To be fair, that was the first question my friends asked me when I showed them I had PlayStation
but they're friends,
VR.
Not coworkers.
I know, but still.
And no gender difference there either.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, it is a fair question, but not to me. I don't know you that. We really don't know each other that well. I mean, we've worked together for a while, but it's not kind of one of those jobs where, you're really like you're arm in arm with a coworker. We pretty much are do our own thing. We just see each other from time to time and maybe chat in a break room, but that's about it. We've never talked porn, so like that was out of nowhere.
We have now.
Yeah, well, we have now.
We always have friendship list.
Right. It's like, well, she's the only person at work I've talked porn with, so I guess she's got that. I haven't talked it with nobody. We'll always have that bond. Anyways.
All right.
Should have saved that for story time.
Yeah.
Well, we could. I don't know if he's recording. Yeah, you record. You could throw that in on.
Of course, it's recording.
Yeah, I throw that on. That'll be some good B-roll.
Put that at the end. All right. Well, let's just get started. Welcome to Dollar Dorks. This is episode 28. This is a podcast about sharing video game buying, selling tips, giving suggestions on what games to watch for, and providing tips on how to fund your collection with your collection. I am Derek. That is Chris and Josh. Chris is my regular co-host. Josh is a special guest today. He's been on before, but I'm on again.
Return guest.
Returning guest. You might have even been on twice. I don't remember, but
no, I think it's the second time.
Okay. Well, that's should have been third time. So we were just talking about UFOs, porn, VR, conspiracy theories. What else?
The usual stuff.
Joy-Cons. I mean,
Joy-Con, yeah, it all goes
that's
together.
more up our alley.
Right.
It's been 5 months since we recorded last. The time before that was 7 months, so we're improving. that basically falls on me again. Just no time. Today or now is a weird time. I've been working from home, working harder than normal for some reason, not taking breaks, and kids are a lot of work. So that's my excuse. And no one else needs an excuse because you asked me like a month ago, Chris, and I'm like, yeah, we should do that. And then I just
Well, I probably could have bugged you a little more, I guess. I don't know. I was feeling the itch to talk. I had a weird eBay thing. We'll get into it whenever that time comes up. But I figured, hey, let's talk about it. And
sounds
why not?
good. All right. Well, if you want to, you can start talking about your last noteworthy deal, pickup, purchase, or sale. Got anything worth talking about?
Oddly enough, I've still done okay on like OfferUp and Facebook. I'm not too concerned about, in my area, COVID isn't as bad as in other areas, and
We were
wear
talking about
gloves.
that. Your area seems really good. Like
I can't believe we're I believe the 5th largest city in California population wise, 5th or 6th. It might fluctuate between us and Bakersfield, but we have a pretty substantial amount of people. At least I mean the sign when I drive into Fresno, the sign says about 500,000, but I believe it's a little closer to 750,000, and with that statistics I sent you was like 6 or 7 deaths.
7 deaths. It was like
7 deaths, and then not that many. Now, granted, some of the cases probably aren't as confirmed, like in most areas. People not getting tested or whatever. But the deaths, you would figure.
You would think, yeah.
Right. That would be something that would be more of something that would be confirmed. So we've been pretty fortunate in our area. And it's not like, I mean, there's some social distancing as far as, the stores got the X on the ground and, shit like that. And Walmart has just started, separating how many people can go in the store at the same time. But most of that's pretty recent developments. It's been pretty normal for the most part. I mean, bars and stuff, there's certain things that are closed, but for the most part, I mean, it's
I think you put out a picture about a video game store being open. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because like that's not allowed here.
I guess a buddy of mine, I'm friends with the owners, and I was talking to him about it. I was like, shit, I didn't know you guys were open. I would have, hell, if nothing else, just come down and talk to somebody, get out. Because, I want to go there. I hang out in the back, and, sometimes I'll help them price items or, some things they're not experts on, like toys and stuff like that. And I was like, shit, I didn't know you guys were open, but apparently he's been open the whole time because they do this thing called Wish. It's a service, I guess, that some sort of online service. I'm not really familiar with it. He told me about it once before, but I guess somebody can order something online and it gets delivered directly to their store. And also because they do electronic repair, I guess that's a loophole. And I mean, they keep the store under 10 people in at a time, and they're practicing distancing and all that for the most part, but it is a pretty tight, cramped store. So I don't know. And it's in Clovis, which is a little more on the conservative end. So they're probably getting a pass on that. It seems they're a little more rebellious over there, but whatever the case is, I didn't care. They're up a good little store, and I'm happy for them because they are a small business, and this is really it's tough on small businesses right now, especially when you have to be completely closed. I mean, they do a lot of online sales as well, but I mean, a lot of their, the majority of their stock comes from trade-ins.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah.
Huh. How about your area? Kind of locked down? What you got going on?
Yeah, so Josh and I are both in the same city, and not actually that far away, like 15-minute drive from each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
But here it's all non-essential businesses closed. But if you could do sales online as like porch or sorry, my God, the curbside pickup they're calling it. Most stores call it. So if I can order from Home Hardware or Home Depot or one of those Canadian Tire type places, and as long as I do my order to pick up at the store or they ship to me, it's good. But anything else that is a storefront only has to be closed.
Yeah.
Unless it's convenience store or essential stuff like food, Walmart. All those are fine to be open, but they limit the number of people in the stores.
Yeah.
And there's lineups all day long from what I saw.
I have noticed a little more. I mean, it's a pretty competitive area where I am as far as buying stuff. On the various marketplace and all that stuff.
Yep.
But I noticed it's been a little more competitive because people are home.
Yeah.
So the normal deals that I probably would have been able to snatch up instantly, the people are, they'll get back to me and be like, sorry, I had like 20 messages, and it's like, whatever.
In our area, I've noticed prices have shot up. Switches
Oh,
are
for
selling
sure.
for like $600, and
Yeah, I figured
even
we'd
used
talk
ones.
about that.
Yeah.
There's two giant jumps that I've seen. Now, one is because of the market as far as the shortage for switches. I mean, anything related for the most part is really going up there, especially the consoles. But Wii stuff is really shot up.
The other thing I was going to say as well was Wii.
Yeah, Wii Sports. I mean, I was selling them for 25 a piece, which was really high, and that would be a good bargain right now. Now it's pushing $40. So
it's crazy.
The most common game of all time is the Wii Sports because it came with every Wii console. So it's
Guitar Hero. I've seen more people looking for Guitar Hero games as well.
Absolutely. Guitar Hero shot up. I mean, of course, all the staples for Wii has gone up, and even the controllers. Like, I'm doing really well on just the basic controllers, like the ones that don't even have the Wii Motion Plus in them, are 25 plus.
And people
shipping.
Are fighting me for them. They're like, I'm getting emails like crazy.
Yeah, and I'm on the more like I could even be pushing the prices harder if I wanted to, but I was just like popping them out just to make some quick cash, and people are loving it. I mean, they're looking janky too. Yeah, I give them a nice clean, but some of them are discolored. They don't care. They'll buy them. They'll buy bootlegs. Like it's Wii has gotten hot. So if you got Wii stuff, man, I'll get it listed.
Sure, I got some two third party controller, Wii controller and Joy-Con. I should try and get sold, and they're small ones too, which is good for a kid.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're not going to get the same as the.
No, I don't care. I just want them gone.
They'll be gone. People are buying them.
I'm sick of having them around.
Or even if you have a Wii like extra Wii consoles, bundle it with that and sell your OEMs separately. You know what I mean? Because people don't care right now. They just want I mean, yeah, they probably would want what they could get. If they can get it with the original, they'll take it, but they'll buy it. I mean, I've had friends that are blowing them out for 120, 130 just for a standard Wii console with the basic cables and one controller.
And no games.
No games. Yeah, nothing. Just standard, what you need to make the Wii function, and no games. And they're getting $120 for it. So
Josh, you just said you sold one the other day.
Yeah, I sold a complete in box one for $180. So Canadian, yeah, but still.
Well, I mean, it's definitely. Obviously, some of this could be regional. I'm in the States. You guys are in Canada. I mean, it might be a tad bit different, but I'm telling you, in the U.S. market, and I know it kind of sucks for Canadian shippers, because, I mean, I'm waiting on a game right now that's I'm almost at the month level, and it sucks because it would have. There's no tracking numbers because when you guys send out your standard post, which I'm assuming is your guys' best option, there's no tracking number with it. So I'm like, I'm trying to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, and he's just like, well, he's trying to blame it on the quarantine, and that has something to do with it. But I mean, I've actually shipped 3 items to Canada in the same amount of time that's got there, but I mean, it might be a little different coming in from you guys than going out. So I'm not quite sure. I give another week and a half or so, and then I
have a game that I sold that was delivered for sure. Another one I never heard back from the guy for sure, but I never checked the tracking either. And then there was also there's a game that I bought from a store that was way underpriced that I'm waiting for to come in, and that's I want to see how long that takes because that one is NCAA Football 14 for Xbox 360, which is shot up in value. It used to be worth around $60, and now it's looking like 100 and there's Canadian prices again, but 190 Canadian for it complete. I don't know why it's shot up, but it's shot up in the last couple of months. February it was down around there's loose prices, but February it was low and then it started shooting up. Now it's well over double what it was. So I want to get that game quickly and try and get that sold.
Yeah.
I will tell you something that here's another odd and this I actually learned because I just overheard the guy talking about it when I was at his store. His employee was listing some games, and he's like, "Is this right?" And he showed it to him, and it's Here Comes the Pain. It's SmackDown Here Comes the Pain on PS2, and that thing is selling for like $45 right now, complete.
Oh,
And
I've
I
heard
am
of one of
so
the
mad at
SmackDown games.
myself because, well, it's not all the SmackDown. It's
Yeah, I
I don't
heard
know
of
why
I think
that
one
one
or two. Yeah.
specifically. That one specifically is shot up, and it caught me off guard. I mean, and it's so funny because I have like 5 of the SmackDown games, and I was gonna list them in a bundle not too long ago, and it was like I don't even think I could have got $23 for them, and that's what made me not list them. I was just like, I don't want to waste my time right now, and I put them to the side, and now this Here Comes the Pain is shot up, and I'm like, shit, man, I come across that one all the time. It's the one that's got
Weird.
Brock Lesnar on the cover.
Yeah, and that's why I wondered if that had something to do with why it went up. Maybe
I
someone.
don't. I think it must be the features. I was looking at the features on the back, and it did have some
Okay.
cool features. And I believe that's the last SmackDown for the PS2, so it probably had all the bells and whistles.
So yeah, it looks like it doubled in price too recently. Yeah,
It's
pretty
shot
much.
up big. I'm gonna say that I would double check all PlayStation 2. You got to think it's like and it makes some sense. Think about the era that it came out in. I mean, that's more PS3 is more comparable with Wii, but you think like there's a lot of people are at home. Some people who aren't normal gamers might want to, do something to occupy their time. So it might just be that age bracket of people who, don't have essential jobs, who are stuck at home. I don't know, or they just have extra time on their hands, so they're just going back and buying those titles, and for whatever reason, man, they want their Wii and they want their SmackDown. So, and even basic some of the parts for PlayStation 2 is going, like the basic controllers have gone up a little bit, not a lot, but it's definitely you could start to see it escalating. So something you might want to look out for if you have extra stock, especially if you got Wiimotes, man. If you got extra Wiimotes right now and you're not listing them, and you might miss the gravy train once the quarantines start lift, because people are probably going to start getting back to normal, and a lot of that stuff's probably going to flood the market back when these people are bored with it again.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I sold off 6 standard Wiimotes and 1 Motion Plus that had dog bite marks because I'm like, this is the time to sell that one, and it sold in no time. It took like a day. People were messaging me like crazy for it. Is it still available? Yeah. Okay. Well, also what I've sold recently. Josh, do you have anything you want to talk about it specifically about that? Purchases, sales?
Purchases, sales. Nothing. Well, I mean, I have sold a lot, but as far as purchases, not really buying a whole lot these days. I did get that Elgato HD60 Pro I was telling you about.
Yep. Capture card.
The capture card. Yes, capture card. That took me about 2 or 3 weeks to set up to set up the deal, because the girl who was selling it lives out on Wingham, which is like 2 hours away, basically.
I have family there.
Okay, so we were trying to meet up like halfway kind of thing, and took 2 weeks to finally nail down a schedule, and took the family out for a nice long drive in the country, and met up in a country parking lot and bought a piece of computer tech. It's very ironic when you have horse and carriages going by.
Yeah.
That is.
Did they meet you part way, or?
Yeah, they met me in Listowel.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was pretty much it. As far as selling, I don't know if we're gonna do the selling part now. Like, my eBay selling has been going crazy. Yeah. So we can do that later.
Yeah, the next section is selling.
Okay, we'll do that after that.
Okay. Sales for me, like what I've already sold. The next part is what you are currently selling or have listed, but now is where you talk about anything you have sold, I guess. I forget the format. Doesn't really matter. We can just shoot the shit. Doesn't matter. But I've sold 5 modded Xboxes in the last month as well. I mod the Xboxes, put bigger hard drive in them, put a collection of 4,000 games on them, put in one controller and the AV cord, power cord, and sell it off like that, usually for around $100. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. and I've sold off 5 of them. So that's really helped pull my gaming budget out of the negatives, because I bought another VR headset not long ago, and the Oculus Quest, and that put my gaming budget in the hole. And then I think there was another big purchase in my gaming budget recently that I cannot remember right now that put me in the hole as well. Oh yeah, my quadcopter, but that's a while ago. Yeah, but those are all paid for now.
Nice.
And I'm up by $75, even though that's, or $70, but that's other for a later time in this thing. But yeah. So next stuff is, what are you selling? Stuff you have for sale, eBay, Kijiji, stuff like that. And Josh, you're first.
Well, the stuff that I have for sale is the stuff that's been up there for ages. I have some PS2 games that aren't selling, even though I continue to drop the prices by them $5 every couple of weeks. It's just not moving. So I know Chris was saying some PS2 stuff is picking up, but not for me. So,
and you have your listings for available with the States as well?
It's for States too, yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
One tip I might give you on that is, if there's anything that, I don't know, maybe you can bundle it, like take it all down and make one listing instead of multiple listings, or keep the individual listings up at the same time. And if the multiple, if the bundle sells, then just pull the other ads.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might, I don't know, there might be someone who's looking more for a catch-all or something as opposed to individual, and could help because of the shipping price.
The shipping price.
I know I've had that situation happen before, where I've also done it the opposite way too, where I've debundled something and actually they sold quicker, but sometimes that can help.
Yeah.
Do you have a console to even sell it with for PS2 or not?
I do have I just got a PS2 console not that long ago. That I need to. It was the system I had in my garage for showing that stuff would work when people would buy stuff, but people aren't really coming around anymore. So I'd rather have the money for the system at this point. So I have to put that together. I do need to just I'll bundle up something together and get it out, but haven't done that yet.
I can see that's helping it sell on Facebook. For people who have nothing, they might prefer a bundle.
Yeah, that's probably where I'd put it. As far as stuff that I've sold, I know we've done this section already, but I'm jumping back.
No, it doesn't matter.
My eBay has been blowing up for the past month, like Chris was saying, for a lot of Wii stuff. I've found a Wii lot of stuff in the garbage, like a Wii console, some controllers, and a bunch of games. Inside the console itself is a copy of Tiger Woods PGA Tour 12, the Masters. So just disc only. And I found it just before the lockdown, everything shut down, and like that thing was going for maybe $20 at most. And then all of a sudden, like a week later, I sold it for $50.
I know, and that's one of those titles that I have passed so many times.
Yeah.
Because every time I've ever looked it up, it was, and I'm not talking within the last few months, but every time I've looked it up, it's a $2-3 title. I mean, it wasn't, and it's interesting how these particular, like, for no reason at all. I don't know if it started with an artificial inflation, but whatever it did, it's caught on. And I saw ahead of the curve on Wii Sports. That was something I had been stockpiling because a friend of mine would always show me you could get up to $15 in trade credit at GameStop for it. So I was just trying to get a healthy enough stack, so if I did go in, it was worth the trouble. I wasn't going to go in for $15, but if I went in for 60 or something, you can get a new game or something like that.
Yeah.
So they had sitting here, and I overheard someone talking about they had listed all their Wii Sports and they all sold quickly on eBay, and I was thinking, you know what, maybe I'll check eBay real quick, and I was like, oh shit, I was like. And I mean, it again, like, but I hate to harp on it, but it's like the most common game too. It's so crazy, and it doesn't matter if it's disc only. It doesn't make no difference at all. The price doesn't change at all if it has the little booklet that came with, because it was in one of those little cardboard inserts.
Yeah.
There was a later copy that did have the Wii, had the Wii case, but doesn't make no difference. It sells the exact same price.
Hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I sold a couple. I sold a Wii Sports Resort, same thing. I still have a Wii Sports Resort and a Wii Sports on my eBay that haven't moved yet for some strange reason. I don't think I've priced them too high, but the other thing that's been going is we mentioned already is Guitar Hero controllers. Like Guitar Hero controllers have been my bread and butter for years. But now it's just been like if I find one, I list it. It's gone within like less than a day, less than 24 hours later, it's sold
on eBay.
On eBay, yeah, they're just flying out. I can't.
And the price has
stock
gone
them.
up. You said.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm getting
selling
$80 to
them-
$90 each.
Okay, but you're selling it complete though with the dongle and everything.
With
No,
it's
these are
just
wired ones.
it's these are the wired ones, the wired Xbox 360 ones.
Oh, the wired one. I'm sorry, I misheard that part. Yeah, because I was wondering. I hadn't looked up because I have a couple of guitars in the garage, but I already because at the time it just made more sense just to sell the little dongles.
Yeah,
No sense to try to. You wouldn't make any more money. Actually, it ended up costing you money because of the shipping. So I've already pieced them out, and now they're sitting there, and I'm thinking, huh. I haven't gone through the trouble of looking up just to see what the guitar would go for by itself, but
I'd do it just to get rid of it, even if it sells cheap. But
yeah, well, it's
I still want to cover shipping, but
sure,
the way I
yeah.
sell mine, I don't ever do free shipping.
No, never do because the shipping has fluctuated too much, and it's gone up at least I'd say 2 to 3 times in the last year in the States. And it's been small. And then sometimes they'll go up a different way. The price doesn't necessarily go up, but they'll lower what fits, like ounce wise, or you know what I mean. They start to shrink that down, so they raise it in a different way. So if you're not paying attention and you got a free shipping thing, I rarely put a free shipping unless I know it's something light. Anything that's maybe 6 ounces or less, then maybe you'll build it into the price. It's all about price manipulation and what looks best to the buyer.
Yeah,
I've had that bite me in the ass a couple of times. I was telling Derek that I use the mobile app for listening because I just find it a lot easier. But they default a lot of the options that I don't want, such as free shipping. Even though I click and I put in all the package details, it still keeps it as free shipping. You have to manually go into like 2 or 3 tickets or 2 or 3 options to click, hey, no, I want the buyer to pay for shipping. So it's been once or twice or 3 times that I've something sold and I looked at the price and I said, yeah, that's what I had it listed for, but where's my shipping added on? Oh shit.
Right.
So.
There's because they've done at least 2 updates in the last 6 months on the eBay app, that major updates that I fucking hated, but I've gotten used to them. But it did that defaulting towards make an offer is something that you got to make sure you turn it off if you're not one to want to deal with it, because you're and my and I actually talked to an eBay rep because I had it for another situation, but I had kind of a higher up rep, not just a normal person answer the phone. So I asked them if they wanted any feedback, and they said, yeah, we're always up to that. It's like, what I don't like about the default for that one in particular is it actually creates animosity with your seller and your buyer, because if you don't want an offer and you're just clicking, I don't know, no, then if at some point they're like, shit, like, well, what will you take? And it's like,
why do you have that option there?
Exactly.
Right. Why do you even have the option? Exactly. So
Canadian Retro talked about that recently. He had made an offer to somebody, and then they came back with a higher than their original price just to piss him off, and he didn't realize that could have been the app thing where it defaulted on.
Right, and that's kind of the problem. And I've had sellers tell me that too when I've sent them an offer, and they're just like, well, I didn't even want to take offers for that, because I sent them a couple offers which I felt like was in the range. It wasn't a low ball. It was definitely within the proper range of the offer. I was making a serious offer, not a bullshit one. There is a difference. And I'm just like, well, if 10% off isn't in your range, what is? And they're like, well, I didn't even want to make them. I didn't want offers, but stupid eBay did this. I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. But I would just say, when you're listing it, just keep in mind, you better double check your free shipping like you had, and double check your make an offer, because it will default to that. One of the things they did initially, but they turned that off really quickly, was that lowering the price. I forgot what they call it, but
the automatic one,
it'll automatically lower now. Now it's just a toggle switch where you can either turn it on or off, and it'll default to whatever you left it at. That's a pain in the ass if that's on, because then your price would be lowering without
all
your
the time,
knowledge.
yeah.
And if it's a
Yeah.
buy it now, you know what I mean? And you can always cancel the sale, but it's just again, it's creating friction when there shouldn't be any. I don't like that.
I had a notification from eBay the other day saying that they changed one of my listings to now accept offers, even though I
Yes.
said I didn't want that. So
They were doing that. They finally stopped doing that to me. And I don't know if it's because I called. I was actually calling for something else. As a matter of fact, it was in that same phone call, and I was getting very frustrated about it because I mean, every couple of days I have to go back and change this off these listings because it would default it to make an offer, and it's pissing me off because I already had an aggressive price as it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a master switch that could click on your account because I couldn't find it, but that hasn't happened to me in a few months now. So thankfully, whatever I did or whatever that, gentleman did for me, he fixed something because I haven't had that happen to me in a while.
To try and avoid these problems, I just literally only use the mobile app to add pictures. I create the listing on the website on the desktop computer, and then I save it as a draft, go to the phone, bring up the draft, attach the pictures, save it as a draft, go back to the computer to list it because I don't trust the mobile app at all.
Yeah. Now,
And it
what does
sucks that we have to do that.
Yeah, because that's adding a lot to your listing time,
Workflow,
correct?
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I've got my listings down to probably under 4 minutes or so. I mean, I'm pretty quick on it. I know exactly what I'm going for. I
Yep.
could, I can knock out. I usually don't like unless it's like a good purchase I made and I just want to get it listed quickly. I try to list a lot of things at once because it's just, I get in the mode, because as resellers, we all know we all have that pile, right?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
stuff
That
that
file.
we haven't,
Yep.
right, that we haven't listed yet. Thankfully, that pile paid off pretty good for me a couple weeks ago. I listed, I mean, I had to have like 40 sales, and there's a lot of smalls, but a lot of prices have gone up on things that I wasn't expecting, and I made about about 1,500 net, and just on stuff around my house that had to be too cheap for me to list, or I would have listed it already.
Yeah.
So that was a happy surprise. I mean, that was one thing positive from the quarantine. It was like my second stimulus check I got. You guys get stimulus checks up there?
Kind of, but not.
Sort of.
Yeah, kind of. You have to qualify for it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but Derek makes the big bucks, so he ain't getting shit.
I don't understand. I also sold 2 games that I'd had on eBay for a while that were original Xbox games. One of them was a Platinum Hits limited, like rare release of Prince of Persia: Warrior Within. That one sold with an offer, I think. No, sold at my asking price of $75 Canadian. And that one, there was no market for that. They rarely ever sell because there aren't many of them. So I could have made my price whatever it was, especially, but I kept it low because it hasn't been selling. It's been like,
Right.
I think a year now I've had it listed maybe. And again, only selling to Canada. But that one, the guy contacted me directly and he was from the US and said he can't buy it from the US. Can I add US shipping for him? And then I didn't reply back within about 3 hours and all of a sudden it sold to someone in Canada. I'm like, what the hell happened here? So I messaged him back and said it just sold. I don't know if you had a friend do it for you or whatever. And he contacted me back right away saying, yeah, I didn't want anyone else to buy it, so I bought it quickly because this is the last game me and my son need for a complete set. So,
yeah, and that is that you said it was a Platinum Hits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's become a kind of a hot subset for certain
Original
collectors.
Xbox
They go for
especially,
like the Platinum. Yeah, that's kind of, and there's a couple of them that are rarer than
like the
you would
50 cent,
expect.
50 cent Bulletproof, I think, is one, and Prince of Persia, and
yeah,
VG Collectorholic had a good list of them. Actually, I have that list shared.
There's a guy on Instagram. His name is I believe it's Super Nintendo, and he's a big Xbox One collector, and he's got some really rare shit. Stuff that you didn't even think of. Not, I mean, beyond games, like store items and prototypes and stuff like that.
Okay.
But he'll stuff his list from time to time, and it's pretty interesting.
That's cool. I had the list here somewhere, but now I can't find where it went. I was just gonna list them off quickly if it was possible, but apparently that's not as easy as said as done. So whatever. You can look it up. It exists. There's about 6 of them or so that are high dollar for original Xbox. I only know that because I was in it, right? And I was watching for them. Actually, that was a reseller had that game in town here. It was Bubba, Josh, that I got that one from.
Yeah.
I think I told you. He's a reseller. He's been actually selling quite a bit in town. He's got freaking tons of stuff, but I don't like the way he does business and stuff. But I got a good deal off him, so I bought the game off him for $5 and then sold it. And I also got Wii motion controllers off him real cheap earlier than that. So whenever I message him now, he kind of double checks his prices better.
Oh yeah. He took a beating from you, so now he.
Yeah.
You know what? That kind of sucks too, because there's certain guys that that if I ask them, their flags go up really quickly. They want to look it up, and I'm just like, shit, I need to have someone else ask for me next time.
Part of what I don't like about this guy is all of his listings on Facebook and Kijiji have no prices, and he says, I go by price charting and ask me a question. No, he doesn't do the make offer. I don't like that either, but he just says,
that's annoying shit.
Message me with what you want, and I'll tell you the price. He even has one listing he keeps up all the time where it's message me for my spreadsheet of what I have, and then ask me things and I'll give you the prices.
Yeah, hey, why don't you cut my lawn while you're at it?
Exactly. You know? Yeah, I can't buy it and sell it, right?
Right. Yeah, I hate that, man. Just tell me what you want for it, and we'll make a deal, or we won't.
Yeah, exactly. He just wants maximum dollar for everything, and I can't discount him or discredit him too much for it, but I don't like it. He also takes pictures with his legs in the damn pictures of his games on his bed.
On his bed with his messy sheets. Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, that's one of my big pet peeves as far as pictures go. The other one is like when you have the shittiest, grainiest, dark picture and it's blurry. Too. And I'm like, dude, I mean, come on, man. What year is it?
2020.
Like,
come on.
What phone do you have? You could have a phone that's like 5 or 6 years old at this point, and you should be able to produce a better picture than that.
Turn a light on. Just turn a light on.
Yes. Turn a light on. Go outside. Go sit on your porch for 3 minutes. Take a picture, man. Like, I hate that. Oh, you expect that to sell? You can't read the labels. It's all grainy.
Did we ask you, Chris, what you're selling? We talked about it, right?
What I'm selling. I mean, in all honesty, I blew out most things. The only thing I really have left is kind of old stock that's been sitting there, and I have a bunch of stuff I need to list. But I will say though, what I took out of like the stuff that I was selling, man, I was really surprised. I am looking over every single overstock item I have right now because of that. Because I mean, everything I pick up has gone up in value. It's people. I don't know if it's because of the stimulus checks. It's more competitive. It's the boredom. It's just this big combination of a lot of things. More people are on social media more, so they're seeing what other people are buying, and maybe that's feeding into it. But man, I mean, everything that I have been hesitant on listing the last couple of months, I have sold already, and everything that's still on there, I probably just need to tweak the prices just a little bit. There's a couple items I have listed high just for the fuck of it because I actually don't want to sell it, but I know it brings a lot of, like I have a first print Sonic that I listed way beyond whatever it sells for because, you know, it has several thousand views on it. I mean, right now it has 744, and that's just for this month because it renews that counter every month.
I wondered. Okay.
Yeah, I put a couple items just really high. I have this stupid gyromite that I drew on it just for the fuck. But I mean, that thing, honestly, that over the last few years I've had it up there, it has gotten at least 20,000 views. I mean, it went viral at one point. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I've never had an item get that many views in a month, but in 1 month by itself, I had like 9,000 views in 30 days. I don't know, somebody goofed on it in one of their podcasts, or somebody must have put it out there because it just like skyrocketed. This one guy constantly messaged me for like 3 months. No, not 3 months, for like about a year, but every 3 weeks he would message me asking me if I would take like 25 for it. And I'm like, and I had it listed for 30. And at the time I was like, dude, it's just $30. Like, just buy it for the 30. You obviously want it. So now I got it listed for $100 just for the fuck of it. Cause I'm content with not even selling it. I use it as to me, it's like whatever 30 cents that costs me every couple of months.
It's a
It's
great way
worth
to
the
find your eBay account. If I'm like,
Absolutely.
what's his eBay account? Yeah, okay, custom cover.
All you gotta do is write it. Well, just type in Gyromite and click the highest. And after you get through the boxes, after you get through like the box copies, you'll see my stupid drawing, and there it is. It's cheap. It's cheap advertisement.
I was actually wondering or thinking that at some point we'd have people selling off collections because they need the money, but that does not seem to have happened. Do you think that's still possible?
Collections are always going to be sold off. It depends on the person, but I haven't seen that. I've seen a couple of people parting out a few high-end items, but I've actually seen prices drop on some, like Hagane, for instance. I've noticed that is like trending under $500, which is still a lot of money for a game, but it was pushing higher beyond that. So that's something that I've seen drop a lot. And the only reason I looked that up is some guy locally was trying to sell it for $1,000. It actually said 500 in his listing, but when you read the description, it goes, well, they won't let me list it for 1,000 on OfferUp. So I put 1,000, but I actually want 500. All right, he put 500, but he actually wants 1,000. I'm just like, yeah, dude, why don't you check completed listings? You missed that boat. I mean, you might want to just put it away for a while because no one's buying it, dude.
Yeah,
I have noticed that my trolling on OfferUp has gotten worse with the quarantine, and I've really done a lot to try not to troll online. And I try to do like I wanted to kind of reduce my stress levels, so I kind of stopped the joking around trolling that I was doing for a while. Like I thought, you know what, I'm gonna dial it back some, right? But I noticed my OfferUp trolling has skyrocketed, so I think I've balanced it going the other way. Because I mean, it's like a guy earlier. He has a multi-tap for the PlayStation 1, right? It looks like a V.
Yep.
He wants $25 for it. Now, truthfully, I don't think that's a good price, but who knows? But he has it listed as Nintendo 64 console. And then in the ad, it says, I've tested this. It works perfectly. N64. So initially, I messaged him. I was like, hey, bro, just a heads up.
Yeah.
That's actually a PlayStation multi-tap.
And it would help itself.
Like,
yeah. You're helping it.
I was actually trying to be friendly. As much as I wanted to be a dick, I was actually trying to be helpful at first. Well, he trolled me back. He said, thanks, professor. And I don't know how that made me a professor. Oh, no, actually, I take it back. He didn't say professor. He said, thanks, coach. And I'm like, all right. So then I decided to go through all his listings and send him little friendly suggestions about all. I was bored, all right? Look, I had time on my hands. So I went through he had about 20 listings. I went through all of them. I'm like, okay, that's not that. That's wrong. You obviously didn't test that. You don't even have the right plug for that. You know what I mean? Because he's like, complete. And I'm like, okay, that's a PS2 controller with a fucking Dreamcast, you moron. That doesn't match up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He put that PS2 controller with the multi-tap.
Right. Yeah, it was still be the right one, but yeah. He messaged me back. I haven't read it yet though. I've got like 5 messages from him really quickly, so I imagine he wasn't happy with me. So anyway, quarantine life, man.
Yeah. Okay, tip corner. Tips, buying, selling, blah 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 blah. So my tip is that I have been still selling, like I've talked about, but I've done almost every single sale as an e-transfer. The person sends an e-transfer first, even when they're on their way, whatever, and then I leave it on the porch for them, usually in a plastic bag, so they can take it home without feeling at risk. That way we keep our distance. There was one person that I got close to just because I was showing him the working Xbox before I sold it, but he was wearing a mask and he had gloves on. But most people have been more than willing, and in fact, almost everybody has showed up with gloves and or a mask on when they come to get something. I think that just might be people who are buying realize that they're going to someone else's house, and you never know, right? So it's been working out pretty good, and I think it's a good idea to encourage that. I even put it in one of my listings, and that helped. People do it more often. In fact, it made some of the sales go quicker because I know that they're not going to flake out on me because they already sent me the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now it's
Lots
more
of-
on you flaking, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not taking the risk.
I just need to put it on my yeah. They just need to trust that I gave them a real address.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna not put it out. Yeah.
Now, this is through Kijiji.
Yeah, this is Kijiji.
Now, do you guys have a rating system through that? Like you
There
would
is
on
now. They just added it in the last year or 6 months or
Last
so.
year or something like that. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
It's
That
weird.
might help with their consumer confidence then.
Yeah, I think it will, and that's a good thing that they did that. It's a weird system. Like you have to have a certain number of messages with people before it kicks in to let you review them, which is kind of good. But I can't figure out how many it is. And right now, it seems like maybe they're just so busy with messages that there's up to a week or two delay before you get that option to review people. Like I had sales well done, and then all of a sudden it comes in saying, "You want to review them? How was your interaction?" Whereas it used to be while I'm talking to them, and once we've get done like 5 messages back and forth, that's when it used to say, "Do you want to review them?" Maybe they've intentionally delayed it because of
Well,
making
probably
sure the
negative
deal has
trolls
happened.
or something.
There,
Yeah.
there was times where the deal hadn't even gone through yet. We had arranged to meet up in 2 days, and then I get asked while I'm still talking to him to review them, and then I'll forget. So maybe they did it on purpose, but then you get the opposite problem where people are like, "I don't remember what guy that was."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows? All right, that's my tip. E-transfer
Any
portion.
tips, Josh?
Derek stole my tip.
Well,
Same thing. I mean, yeah, be safe. Do what you gotta do. Yeah. I've met up with a couple people. I've offered delivery more than I like. I would never usually not deliver anything. I was laid off for a couple of weeks, and so in that time, I was just like, "Hey, I'll deliver. Like, I'm not doing anything else. I might as well make some money." So, do not do anything else. Yeah, like be within reason, obviously, and like if it's within 5 or 10 minutes of me, sure, I'll do it for free. But if I got to drive 15 minutes one way, it's going to cost you $5 or something like that. So,
Yeah, I always find people are never close. If they're
yeah.
close, they're willing to come get it.
I did have one person ask if I would deliver, and she was like 5 minutes away, and she just didn't want to take a bus to come and get it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Anybody coming to my area to get a bus, for some reason it takes them an extra 2 hours more than they expected every time, without fail.
yeah.
It was like the bus is scheduled for this, I'll be there at that time, and then they show up 2 hours later. The one person just didn't even show up at all. They're like, I couldn't figure out how to get there.
Well, see, you're not far from a bus terminal. Would you ever offer to like meet them at the bus terminal?
It depends on time of day and stuff. Like if the kids
Yeah.
are in bed and my wife's okay with it, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's
Because I'm not very far from the grocery store. Theirs is not far from me. It's like
yeah.
down the street. And so what I'll do is I'll say, okay, I'll meet you at the Zares and whatever, because it's gonna like take a minute to drive over there.
Yeah, I
Then
can do
I'll
the
wait.
same thing with Food
I'll wait
Basics
around
around
for
the
10 minutes. Yeah. And
I
the
just
bus
hate
stop
meeting
is right
people.
there.
I hate meeting people because I don't trust them to show up.
Yeah.
I've done that too many times where I've met somebody and there's some confusion or some problem, they just don't show up. The one guy's cell phone battery died, so he was sitting there waiting for me, and I was waiting for him, and neither one of us knew where each other was there.
Yeah.
Then another guy, I drove all the way to Cambridge one time to meet up with the guy, and it turned out he had sent the email. I think I talked about this one too. It was for paintball gun. He had sent the email 2 days before, and he said tomorrow. So he already
Oh.
thought I was supposed to be there the day before, and I got the email delayed by a day, so I was there the next day.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I've always just done.
That was a half hour
That's
drive.
why I meet so close, because it's like literally a minute. So if I go there and sit for 10, 15 minutes, whatever, it doesn't make a difference to me really.
Yeah.
And then I'll only give them like that 10 to 15 minute window. If they don't come at that time, I leave. If they message me saying, "Hey, where are you?" I'm like, I was there and I left. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, try it again
Yep.
another day. Or if it's really not that far, then like obviously, but I would never
Well,
drive to
obviously,
Cambridge.
at substantial deal, I'm sure.
Yeah. If it was a big enough money, but for a $5 game, I'm not gonna.
No,
go
that's the thing. It was a $150 paintball gun that I was doing, and he was offering to pay me more to come deliver it because he didn't drive.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. That's what you get with
Yeah,
teenagers.
I had a pickup I had recently. There's a I don't know. He's a veteran, so I don't know if this happened to him in the war, but he's a little weird, a little crazy. a local store actually had to ban him because of his behavior, but I guess it's a little side note. But he has all these box NES games. I don't want a lot of box NES games, but there are certain ones I'm looking for. And he had some of them, and I had seen his listing. So he gives me the address to go to his house. And I start to go that way, and I'm looking at the address, and I'm like, okay, this address doesn't exist. Because I know the area of town, it's a business district. There wouldn't be apartments there. So I messaged him back, and I was like, hey, man, you need to try again. That's not the right address. And he's like, oh, actually, he meant, he said Fresno Street. He meant First Street. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. So I went to his house and went in, and everything was in his living room. And like I said, the guy's really weird. I was going through it, and he's really high priced. So we were haggling a little bit, and finally came to some deals where we can both agree on. I was actually really happy with, but he's like, I got more games in my bedroom. I'm like, okay, well, I'm in your living room, so
you can bring them out here.
You can go ahead and bring them out if you want, but I'm cool with what's out here. I mean, are you sure you don't want to go look at them? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, man. All I could think is like, what's this, Buffalo Bill? I ain't gonna end up in some fucking well. Nah, I'm good. What I mean? And then so, that was the first time, and then another time I went back and I picked up another game, and his wife was there, and she's like frantically trying to call him, and I was like, I don't even understand what the problem is. This is, how much money it is. You have the game in my hand. So he pulls up, but then this time he was really normal. So he must be bipolar, because this time he was like completely different guy. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, that was weird. But
didn't invite you into his bedroom.
Maybe because his wife was there. I don't know, or maybe I don't know. So I guess probably a tip would be, and granted, I break the rules a lot because I feel like I can handle my own very well, and I adjust to situations pretty quickly. But I probably wouldn't advise going into someone's house, especially don't go into their bedroom if they invite you in. But but I guess the tip would be, though, also keep working your resources if you don't, because I've actually gone back to him twice since then, and he seems to keep pulling things out, even though supposedly every time this is all he has. And I know he's not buying more. I mean, I guess I don't truly know, but I'm pretty confident in saying that he's not buying more. So I could have easily had blown this off the first go around, and I've actually talked before about, kind of paying the price of admission, try not to haggle too hard the first time. And I actually broke that rule, because I did kind of haggle pretty hard, but I didn't do it in a way to insult the man, because he kept going by what he thought this was worth and this and that. So instead of arguing with him, I shifted towards something else. So try not to bruise their ego, in those situations. And another situation, like another pickup I didn't mention earlier, there was this guy who was super flaky, messaging back and forth, and I really didn't think this was going to happen. He had a pretty good box lot. It had a nice box Mario 3, nice box Zelda, top loader, a whole bunch of games, other box games, Teenage Mutant Ninja, few that I wanted. The price was really good. I offered him a little lower. He actually agreed to it. Told me where to meet him. I'm sitting there in this Target parking lot. He's running behind. He's not responding to the messages well. And I stuck it out, and finally he showed up. And apparently this is like a mega collector kind of getting out. He wasn't really in touch with pricing. So it's a very good connection to have. Now, granted, I haven't bore a lot of fruit from it yet, but he has a lot of high-end rare. And actually the deal was really good too, and I actually ended up doing very well on that deal. Apparently top loaders have shot back up again, because those prices were trending down. And
too bad you don't have many, right?
Yeah, I know. I actually sold two this month, which is amazing. Like, I never sell them. I don't know why. They just sit. I like the way they look on the shelf, but so I've sold 2 this month.
Do they look better on the shelf than the money would?
Well, that's the thing, man. When you just throw the money on the pile, you forget what it came from. It's
not
that big
special.
pile.
So yeah, you need to do one of those. I'm taking this specific money and buying this specific thing.
Yeah.
That way you'll remember.
Big item, yeah.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you did. Yeah, and I am a big proponent of that. If there's something that you are a little on the fence in selling, but you do sell it, replace it with something you know exactly what it is, so you won't feel as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I was just looking through my list to see if I could find any interesting stories, but I don't see nothing. Okay, we're moving on to story time. And we're starting with Chris. Any interesting stories, failures, lessons learned the hard way? I mean, you
Yeah,
kind of just told stories. So
well, right. Yeah, but that's kind of my thing, I guess.
That's Chris's
Yep,
shtick.
I
That's
never
his thing.
noticed.
Notice that? Well, yours is a spreadsheet, and mine is telling long-winded stories. So I have two eBay scenario. Well, three if I kind of borrow someone else's. There has been some major policy changing with eBay that you might want to take note. One being, they're really cracking down on people trying to profit off the quarantine and all that, which is and hoarding, and that's very good. So they're actually, I hate even using the word shadow banning, but that's what the seller used. Jay, we had him on our show. He actually did a pretty interesting video on it on his YouTube channel. I believe the name of it's Bolo Rama. Anyway, uh, he was noticing that he was having some issues with some listings that happened to have certain keywords in there. And it wasn't like he was selling hand sanitizers or anything, but if they fell under certain categories, eBay has, and they're not even telling you what that number is, but they're basically putting a cap on what you could sell particular items on in a certain category. Now, it doesn't really concern most people. If you're selling video games, you're pretty safe, but he was noticing under some household items he was selling, and that they were basically delisting his item. I mean, it was still there, but he had someone else actually go into his store to look for these listings, and they weren't able to find them, even though he was seeing it on his end. Sorry about that. So with that being said, you might want to look into it. I believe they have some guidelines on eBay. I didn't look too much into it because it really doesn't contribute. It doesn't really it doesn't affect me as much because most of my items are media or electronics, so I was able to avoid that. But that's something you might want to look out for if you're selling things that might fall under that range. I wish I had a little more information on it, but if you go to that video, maybe Derek can link it in the description, and I'll send you the link, Derek. It was very informative, and he was having some problems. One thing I did happen to me directly, I noticed, is you're not able to get any operators on the phone right now unless you have an eBay store and you get the concierge service. You're not going to be able to get an operator on the phone right now, and because you get that message right when you call, it'll tell you that due to the quarantine or the outbreak or whatever, that they don't have any operators available. So that really can affect you if you have an issue. So everything's going to have to be done by email, and that actually goes into my next thing. Would be, I sold a Virtual Boy game for $11. Now, this was a very cheap item, and it was so cheap that, I mean, really, you couldn't beat it. If you compared it to any other prices, it was Mario Tennis, and that's shipped. It was like $11.20 shipped, and it was media mail. There was no hiding it. It said it in the description. I think it might even have said it in the title, what it's being said, but it was listed 3 different times how it's being shipped. Obviously, most people buying things right now, you've noticed there has been some shipping delays because of staff issues with the post office. They have less people working. So now, granted, the guy had a very valid concern. It had been 2 weeks. He hadn't got his item yet. So I double checked the tracking number, and I noticed that actually the post office had misshipped it twice at that point, and they actually ended up misshipping it a third time. It went from where I'm at to San Francisco, which is very unusual. When I ship out, typically it goes from where I'm at to Fresno, and then it goes to Los Angeles, and then it ships out. So it went from my house to Fresno to to San Francisco, and then Los Angeles. So that added like 4 days right off the top because it's going media mail, so it's definitely a slower service. Then it went to like Iowa, and then it went to Ohio. Okay, this guy's in he's in North Carolina or something. You know what I mean? Like, it was nowhere near where he's at. And at one point, it ended up being closer to me than it was to him. And this is after it had been shipped for 2 weeks. So I tried to explain it to him. I'm like, look, because that was before I even looked at the tracking number. I said, well, let me double check the tracking. I was like, it could be just slowed down because of the quarantine. And actually could be, plus it's going out media mail. So he got pissed off. Why is it media mail? That's illegal, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, actually it's not. eBay offers it. It's right there in the shipping options. So it's not. I mean, you can say it's illegal. You can say you don't like it.
The
And
post office
actually
took it too.
well, they do, and I've actually talked to my postmaster. Now, you can go to the website, and they do say that doesn't qualify as media mail on the website, but I don't care. I'm not buying it from them. I'm buying it from eBay. eBay's dealing with it. So if eBay's offering it, I can't put a toaster and use media mail through eBay. It won't even let me. That category will not pop up.
Video
So
games
if you
does,
listen,
you said,
it will not go out media
it's
mail, but
software,
video
which
games
is
do.
safe. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a technicality, but it makes perfect sense. I can even argue that it's educational. And that's another thing. Educational software, all video games are educational on some level, even the worst ones.
Reflexes. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, hand-eye coordination, whatever. Anyway, he didn't get back to me. He let it go. I tried to be as polite as possible. Then he got a lot more aggressive, opened up a case. And all you have to do is make sure your tracking number is in the case. And they opened it and shut the case. And they basically did a no fault, in conclusion. Like
So
it
he's
didn't.
refunded,
I didn't.
and you get your money.
I get the money. It's such a cheap price to eBay. They're just like, screw it. But he's still able to leave feedback, and he left negative feedback. So normally, in these situations, I'll call. And honestly, I've never had negative feedback. I've only had neutral one time. And it was not justified either. I called, talked to an operator. They took it down. Now, sometimes I'll do a preemptive strike if I know that I'm trying to get, like, someone's trying to scam me, because I've had that a couple times, and they don't get their way. It happens with iPhones. They want it to connect to the cloud, and they'll message me, does it connect to the cloud? I'm like, no, you're buying it for parts only. I'm only selling you parts. I'm not selling you anything else but parts. It's not working for parts. So they'll get it. And then they'll say, oh, it doesn't work. I want my money back. And eBay used to just always shut that down. Now that also leads it. And so I was able to get it done through email. I had to message them, and it was down within 6 hours. So whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so all's well that ends well. But one thing I have learned in the last few months is they are really getting aggressive on returns. eBay is. They're almost going to force any return on you at all.
I've heard
And the reason I know this is because they did force a return on me on a camera that I sold. Now, granted, after I just kept pounding them, kept calling. Eventually, I got all my money, and that was that. I mean, it ended up working out. The guy got his refund. They did another one of these no fault things, but it wasn't easy. I had to go through several operators, and at some point, it started coming down to, if I just didn't have the free time, I was at work, so I was able to just do it. Like I was getting paid basically to make these phone calls. If not, it really wouldn't have been worth the time.
Was this that drone camera?
Yes. One of them he claims wasn't what I claimed it was. One of them, he bought two. And one of them he's trying to claim didn't live up to. And again, it's parts. I was like, dude, there's a body, there's a lens, there's several parts. You just weren't able to repair it, and you're being dishonest. But what I did learn is when I got kind of to a high up guy, like I forgot even his title, but it definitely isn't the people who normally answer the phone. It took me several attempts to get to this person. And he's telling me that if you don't, they're encouraging you to take the return and to offer them half the money up front. And if you don't do that, you're going to be responsible basically the whole way. Now, I don't know if this is a soft policy, if this is going to be ingrained in them, but essentially the whole item doesn't meet the description thing. All they have to do is say that, and buyers are getting kind of hip to that fact, and they're going to force the return on you. You can try. I
believe I heard this is related to trying to compete with Amazon, right? eBay trying to compete with Amazon. Let's try and make it easier to get returns.
And Walmart too, because Walmart's got their secondary market just like Amazon. And it's really about this free returns. They're putting up the return dates. They're trying to push you to pass beyond 30 days now. I got an email from them saying that and I think this is their way of kind of just forcing the policy on you. They're using the COVID outbreak as they're giving the buyer another 15 days. So Right now, they're
True.
getting an extended amount of time upon their 30 days they already had. They're getting 45 days to return an item now. So I would just say this, man. I would really double check some of the items that you're selling and really make sure that, even if you have to message the buyer before you sell them to kind of get a feel for them, because you might just want to cancel the sale if you don't like their feedback, if there's something about them that don't rub you wrong or that
Ask
rubs
a lot
you
of
wrong.
questions about how it works.
Well, right. And I put that a lot in all my ads. I'm like, look, if you want more pictures, message me. If you want to ask me any questions, message me. Do it all before you buy the item. I'm here for you. If you want me to ship it somewhere else, let me know. But it's something you should watch out for. They're essentially they're letting buyer's remorse returns happen, and they never done that before. So that's something you might want to be aware of. It's not like you got a lot of options other than like your off site, like Macari's another option. I haven't sold there, but I have a friend that does. He likes it. But OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace is where I put my iffy items.
Yeah. Fun.
So that's my yeah.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. I still love the site. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm still gonna use it. You just know that that's gonna be part of the problem. Yes, there's they have too much of a buyer base. You're looking at hundreds of millions of buyers compared to maybe thousands if you're lucky in your area.
Yep. All right, Josh, you got any story?
I had to cancel a couple of purchases on eBay. I had to be that guy, and they're just like stupid little things like a Torx bit set or like a Nintendo tri-ring screwdriver. A lot of the stuff that I would buy, and they give you that shipping window of, hey, it's going to take anywhere from 1 month to 3 months to get there. Yeah. And I had one that said, oh, it should be there by April 15th. And then on April 14th, I got a notification that it just shipped.
Oh my God.
So I was like, all right, I'm not going to deal with that. So I just had to go through the whole, I just want to cancel this. And if it shows up in 3 months, sure. But it's not a whole lot of money. So I'm sure the seller, they're just Chinese sellers. Not that there's nothing against them, but
they're used to having people cancel because of shipping problems, because it happens all the time.
I guess. So it's like a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there. That's my thing. Yeah, that's pretty much it for story. Is this the tips too? Is that
no story? Tips was before. Did we miss you on tips? I don't remember. Did I miss you?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Let's hear it.
Tips.
You said I stole yours.
Well, I guess another one is just to keep talking to people about what you want, what you collect and everything like that. Because the guys that I work with, I'm sure you guys know that I work in the garbage industry. So there's a lot of things coming in and out of there. And so at all the transfer stations and dump sites that I go to, I know the couple of guys that work at each one, and I always just say, oh, if you ever see any games, put them aside for me, let me know. I'll buy a coffee or something like that, and they do. They'll just put stuff aside for me, and every once in a while, Derek, I've been sharing some pictures with you, stuff that I've been getting, and it's worked out in my favor. I pulled out now. Before I get flack for this, yes, everything's been sterilized. Everything was treated accordingly. Everything's been quarantined for a long time, and then
lick them first.
I didn't lick them. I handled them with gloves and then wiped them down with alcohol. It's all safe. Don't worry. But I got a nice ColecoVision set with 12 games, 13 games that came out of there, which was nice. With there was a steering wheel, ColecoVision steering wheel, a Dreamcast console, complete, not in box, but controller, VMU, everything like that. Everything works. Some Dreamcast games, some PlayStation 1 games, and then some Super Nintendo games. Now, I guess it could be part of story time. One of the guys just said, hey, I got some games here, and he kind of gave me a box, and I saw the Dreamcast in there and some games, and I saw some Super Nintendo stuff on the bottom. And I was like, oh, cool, yeah, great. And I threw them in the truck, and I said, all right, I'll check them later. And then I kind of forgot about them. Not that they were right there, but I just had stuff to do. And I finally had some downtime. I was like, oh, I'm going to go through these games and started looking through. And so I pulled up the Super Nintendo games, and I shit you not, the first game I pulled out, not great, but Mortal Kombat. I don't know if you guys can, whatever, Mortal Kombat. You guys know what that was. Second game I pull out, that's Axley.
Oh, that's a nice little shooter.
Nice little shooter. That's just doubles, so that's, well, both those are doubles, so they're going to go up for sale. And then you guys will, well, I know Chris will appreciate this. That one popped up.
Yeah, that's nice, dude. That's a very nice freebie, buddy.
That's for the audio listeners, is Earthbound for
That's
Super
great.
Nintendo. Couldn't believe it. My heart just like, my stomach just dropped. My heart was started racing. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? So I mean, this was always something that we would joke about when I started pulling games out. It was just like, oh, let me know when you pull Earthbound out of the garbage. I'm like, haha, yeah, sure, whatever. And
Check
Crazy,
mark.
man.
check, yeah. So it's
So you're saying this was trashed that one of your coworkers grabbed? This was on its way to a landfill?
it was in the landfill because
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
Right?
So
So
imagine
that's almost like your equivalent of the ET carts there, you know?
yeah, basically.
Wow.
Yeah. And so stuff, a lot of people say, like, think about how rare stuff is. Certain amount of copies were made
Yep.
or whatever, so they have to be out there, but they're not accounting for how much of this stuff just got thrown out.
Yeah.
Or even destroyed in a fire or
Yeah.
water damage or whatever. Like, yeah, I mean, I have a copy of Cheetah Man 2, which is rare, and they say there was like 1,000 produced.
Yeah.
But there's 1,000 left. Just even looking at the condition of mine, I'm surprised that one even made it. It's not in the greatest condition. So I'm thinking some have to be in a garbage can somewhere. Someone bought that game and threw it out, especially
And even
they
more
bought it
so
for
if
a
it wasn't a good game, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Cheetah is
yeah,
notoriously bad.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
opposed to Earthbound, that's Nintendo made, good
a very good
lineage,
game.
all that stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even think about like the Nintendo World Championship carts, and it's like I guarantee you some of those have been thrown out because they're just like, what is this garbage?
Nintendo threw some of them out.
Yeah.
When they started malfunctioning during the championships, they were just throwing them around, and they ended up in a box somewhere, and those boxes they were supposed to be destroyed. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And how many times, like, there's been so many times where I've pulled up to something and I get out and I see, oh, there's an N64 that got crushed, or I see some Super Nintendo carts that have been like destroyed here and there just because I just missed it. I didn't get there in time. But I've pulled
Yeah.
like anytime I see something that's good, I pull it out. Like I pulled out an N64 box that has like everything in it, all the styrofoam, all the plastics. Just the corner was a little bit wet, so I just put it beside my
and the
furnace for a
thing,
while.
you're pulling that out in 2000 and the last 5-10 years,
Yeah.
whatever, how long you worked there.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because that must mean that it must have sat in someone's house for a long time before they made that decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
So, and then
Cool.
a couple months ago I sold I have the Hori flight sticks for 360. The for Ace Combat, I think it's Ace Combat 6. Yeah, it's got to be 6. I bought those at Value Village like a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that, for like $9. And I bought the game, and then I was just like, oh, I'm gonna get rid of these. I played them once, and they're kind of whatever. It's fine. Sold it, and then same thing, the same coworker, like a couple days later, just like, hey, I pulled this out, and it's that Hori flight stick controller that goes for over $100. Just here you go.
In the box.
So in the box, yeah. So it's just the controller in the box, no styrofoam, no game, but still, and it's in way better condition than the one I sold. I sold the last one for like over $100, and
You might need to buy that coworker a beer or something, man.
Yeah, I had a Timmy's card
I was
on
gonna say you're
on
gonna buy
me.
him 2 coffees.
I
Right.
had a $20 Timmy's card on me, and I said, "Here you go, buddy. Like, enjoy."
Yeah, encourage that shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Keep him going,
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
take
he's
care.
already doing it for nothing. Now give him some motivation,
Yeah,
Hey, there'll be
yeah.
a $20 bill in your pocket every time you do that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So yeah, take care of the people that you do it, and obviously like don't give it away. Just, oh, I'm gonna go sell this for $100.
Yeah, like well, why make him feel bad?
Yeah,
There's no
yeah,
reason.
yeah.
He's happy to do it for you. Why create any animosity there?
Everyone's happy. He gets a coffee. That's what he wants, and I get what I want. And
you're
like
saving
obviously
shit from the garbage.
Exactly. And I'm not selling everything. Like Earthbound, I don't think I'm gonna sell because I like the story too much. I don't want to just get rid of it.
When are you gonna come across another copy? If it's, I mean, if you know, if it's a game you wanted for your collection, you might as well keep it.
Yeah. So, and other stuff that I've had that I've put money into. I had the Misadventures of Tronbon for PS1 that I bought at Value Village for quite a bit of money, and so that I bought as an investment, and I just like I'm going to buy this to sell it because it was priced for about half or a quarter of what it was going for, which is still a lot of money for a Value Village game, but
yeah.
But
that's from Value Village, not from a coworker or friend.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's a cool story that I found it, but it didn't really mean anything to me because I put money into it. Whereas like I got something for free, and yeah, it's much cooler to have that than something you spend a whole lot of money on. So I mean, if you look behind me, like half the stuff is all free because I've pulled it out of the garbage or sold stuff and then bought it from garbage money. So.
Everything behind Eric's free.
There you go.
Yep.
I just saw his new list, right? You're in profit now, right?
That stuff has paid me $70.
Yeah, there you
go. So story. I don't have a story that I can think of. I already talked a bit, but just I found that list of uncommon Xbox Platinum titles. So 50 Cent Bulletproof, Forza Motorsport Platinum version, Prince of Persia Warrior Within, MVP Baseball 2005, SpongeBob SquarePants Lights Camera Pants, Fight Night Round 2, and Tony Hawk's Project 8. Those are the more valuable ones, just so you know. Since I did mention it. Okay, this next section is our discussion topic, collection update, etc., whatever. Basically, collection update is what we usually end up doing here. Josh, you feel like talking about anything collection-wise? Anything you've added to your collection or anything you're collecting, maybe focusing on?
I haven't really been getting a whole lot of other than Earthbound, obviously. I am making a push to well, not a push, but I am putting a focus on Game Gear stuff. That's kind of been my focus for several years now. I actually went through my collection not that long ago to actually catalog it. It's one of those things that I just put into a bin or a box for forever and didn't really know exactly what I had, even though I was going for a complete set. But yeah, I did actually finally go through it and alphabetize it and catalog it, and so I know what I have and what I need left to get. So, yeah, other than that, not a whole lot. The quarantine has kind of pushed me to get more digital games, and I hate to say that, but as a quote unquote collector, but it really depends on what you're playing. Like I'm playing a lot of Switch right now, so like the Switch eShop sales are so good right now. That's where I'm spending all my money because I'm spending.
I think Travis said a similar thing on Polykill that he's been buying digital just because of the inconvenience of going out to get things or ordering things and shipments being delayed and stuff.
Yeah, and then getting stuff for like $5 or less. Like it's $20-$30 games for less than $5. Like the amount of work that you'd have to do to find that physical for that price. Is it?
Yeah.
You have to weigh the pros and cons of doing that. So
there's also been a lot of sales lately too on that kind of stuff.
Because like every week they're changing the sales on the eShop. So that's it's been a good time waster.
You?
And with all my flush eBay money, you can just use PayPal right on there. It's great. I don't have to use my actual money.
It's free money.
Free money.
So myself, like I said, my collection's up $70 and 49 cents. So everything in my collection's been free, and I'm up that much. I got that game on the way. That football game, it should be a nice little profit. I still got a huge collection of stuff. Half this pile behind me is stuff to sell. So I've got a huge bin of limited run games I need to get sold. I just haven't listed many And when I do, they don't seem to really sell locally, so that might have to be an eBay thing. My whole collection, I don't think I haven't been updating the value very much, but
Those Switch games, those limited run.
Yeah, I got some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those
might have to take a look at it.
Those could be a bit of a tough sell. I was one of those guys that would buy double of everything when limited run started, and I'm still stuck with a couple now that I just can't get rid of. So they can be a bit of a gamble.
Yeah.
Not trying to discourage
I
Derek.
gambled once.
No, I mean that's discouraging because I might try to buy some off them. You're never gonna get rid of it, Derek. You might as well just give it to me at cost, below cost.
No,
Cut your losses,
it
Derek.
doesn't work. I got like Broken Age. I got Saturday Morning RPG. That Night Trap is not. Oh yeah, it is. Night Trap is, I think. I have a PC version of Night Trap too, so I'm not confused. I don't know. Dan Meku Unlimited 3, Dark Souls Remastered, Another World, Earthworm Jim, Lost Sphere, Axiom Verge, Escapists.
Earthworm Jim came out on Switch?
No, sorry, Toe Jam and Earl. I totally said it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the Toe Jam and Earl and confused it with Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, a couple more. Yep. They're still ready to sell.
Have you sold any locally?
Only the ones that I had told you about a while ago. That guy came to my work to pick up one, and I upselled them on 2 more.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good way to do it.
And then the ones I sold to you at cost.
Yes, thank you.
But don't tell Chris.
with free local delivery.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that's nothing real interesting in my collection. I haven't added many games. I did organize my game shelf behind me, and it's to the brim full. Like I couldn't get anything else if I tried. So I'm not sure whether I should just start selling off some stuff, or what would be really nice if I had time to play some things and then sell them when I don't like them. That's what I really want to do next, but just a matter of having time to do that. And then my son comes down to play games with me, and he wants to play freaking Skylanders again that we beat 4 times. Like, oh, come on. I thought he outgrew it and wanted to play something better, but it's always either Mario games or Skylanders now, I guess.
Well, it's like my issue, you know, when I have friends over, and I'm just like, or not always friends, but like family. Oh, look at all these games, great. What do you want to play? Do you have Mario Kart? Like that's all anyone wants to play is Mario Kart. So like, why the fuck do I have all this other shit for? Like,
yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Derek,
you should. Friends come over, I don't even let them choose. I just hand them a controller, and we sit down and play a bunch of Steam games, multiplayer Steam games.
Yeah, that's usually what I try to do too. When people don't have a choice, and we're not sitting there arguing for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
So, Derek, what you should do is set up a stream, and my eBay bill just went out. Oh gosh. That's the most money I've ever paid to eBay in my life. Set up a stream when you try all those games and just be like, okay, we're going to do like PS2 today. And then just kind of, put them on and say, hey, we're going to...
PS2 stopped reading discs, though. I was going to bug you and
I have a PS2 for sale.
Is it a Slim?
It is.
Ooh. I'm going to have to get that off you.
All right.
I don't need cords. I already have them.
That's
I just
fine.
have it. It won't read DVD discs or
yeah, you got to upcharge them and make them buy the cords. Sell them to third-party controllers.
No, he wants to have the cords for the next time he finds a console only.
For the next one, I know.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, you know.
I do. I hate selling the parts.
Yeah, I have leftover Xboxes to mod, but I have no controllers and no AV cords left, or maybe 1 or 2 of each. But yeah, it's gonna be annoying to get original Xboxes sold without those. So
I've got an extra Xbox. I don't think it works, but you can have it for parts if you want it.
That'd be awesome, especially if the DVD drive works.
Yeah.
I'm running out of those because they all have issues. All
I
right,
got a stock of them, man, but it would cost like $8,000 to mail you anything. So
yeah, I know, right?
It wouldn't even be worth it.
No, it really wouldn't.
No.
You have a bunch of original Xboxes.
I have like 5 of them, and I'm looking at them like I mean, I'm eventually probably gonna try to get them all tested and listed. But I got 2 Halo. I have 2 working Xboxes in 2 separate rooms, and they're both Halo editions. So I'm thinking like these are kind of the cool ones I have. So what do I need all these fucking black ones for?
Yeah, No, that's why
I'm
I'm
a
bottom and
sucker
sell
for
'em.
a deal, man. When you're gonna sell me a complete Xbox for $5, I mean, what am I supposed to say? No?
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
mean, you have to
I would
take it.
I would take it and put in 3 hours worth of work and
Right.
modded hard drive and
Well,
sell
now
it
see,
for
that's what
100.
I need to do. So we'll have to get together, or you send me a link or
It's not
something.
fun.
'Cause-
It's not a fun process, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of
but I
places
mean,
where you can brick it.
right, yeah,
A lot of
and that
steps where
probably.
if you did this right before this, it's a brick. It's a pile of.
Oh,
Yeah.
uh,
I've got the steps
gotcha.
written out. I wrote them out for myself recently, but it doesn't include all the details of where to get that stuff from, all the files and stuff. Yeah. I wrote them out recently to be like, I want to make sure I don't miss a step. But then I'm like, wow, this is a long list of steps.
Just create a Google Drive with everything you need in it, and then just share the link.
The problem is all the games is 80 gigs.
Well, you know,
Before that, it's
make
not
a
bad.
server.
Yeah. All right. So we already no, Chris, your collection update. I didn't talk to you about
I've
yes
been,
manuals. Heard you or saw you tweeting.
yeah, my manuals are down to like 35 for the complete set. That's all I need left. It's 35 or I have to recount it, but it's either 34, 35, or 36. One of that. But it's not many.
And what everybody
So
wants to know is how many Mario Duck Hunts you have
I do get that question a lot, and I go the other way. I need 46.
to finish the
So
shelf. Yeah.
to finish the 380, so it's minus 380 minus 46. It's very easy math. You guys can all do it. So that's how many I need left.
230.
But it actually goes into something I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm going to be part of. I looked at some of our questions we got, so we'll
Okay.
get there.
Yeah. That's what we're moving on to next is the questions.
Whoa, spoilers.
Well, he's done, so that's next. It's now.
No, we're good. Let's go to the
I actually
questions.
forgot to
Yeah.
do hashtag DD answers, so I should actually double check that. I did hashtag Dollar Dorks, forgetting that we used to do hashtag DD answers.
Yeah, I
But that's
saw we
okay.
got a couple. One from Buried on Mars and one
Yeah.
from
No, they replied directly,
Phil.
which is
So
good. I was just making sure no
right.
one else tweeted out to the other hashtag I usually use. Our last hashtag or question to that was way back in May of 2019. So I think we're all right. So hashtag DD answers if you have any questions, or just at me and hashtag Dollar Dorks, whatever the hell you want, or at Chris, because a lot of
Yeah.
questions Chris can answer better than I can. So our first question's from Retro Nonsense at Duke0619. He says, Chris, what's your best vintage Star Wars find at a flea market? That's half his question.
Yeah. My best vintage. Well, it wasn't at a flea market. Well, I guess it kind of was. We were at that video game convention, and I had been wanting to get. Now, as far as the value goes, I mean, I have to. Most of my value of my collection came from years ago, so that was. I couldn't even tell you. I mean, it's all like all the action figures have shot up, and I really haven't got into the value of it. But was it last year, or the year before? I was with Curtis and Matt Bandy, and I found me a really nice X-wing, complete, all the stickers, little, the action works on it. The wings pop up, it makes the firing noise, the little light goes off, and I picked that up at that little video game swap meet we were at. So I guess that kind of qualifies as a flea market, sort of. But yeah, and I got it for a really good deal. I think I paid like, I don't know, like $30 for it, and that's definitely less than half of what they normally go for, especially in that condition.
Gotcha.
And it was kind of like a lot of this shit we do is nostalgia, reliving your childhood, getting back things you lost, shit like that. Well, that was I had 3 items growing up. Like vehicle wise for Star Wars, it was an X-wing, it was a TIE fighter, and the Millennium Falcon. I still haven't got another TIE fighter, but I've got the other two nice and complete. And then I realized how much space that fucking Falcon takes up, and I kind of regret it. But it's really cool though. One day I'll hang it from the ceiling or some
That's
shit.
what I was
Make
picturing.
something
Yeah.
cool.
No floor space, no shelf space.
Yeah, just find a corner that it can in the game room or something, because it looks cool as fuck,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess that'd be it, the X-wing.
And do you see Star Wars stuff at flea markets much, or?
Not as much as I used to. There is a guy at one of the swap meets I go to, and he's pretty consistent on the action figures, but they're always loose. Or what I mean by loose is, you know, I mean sometimes they're actually loose, like their arms and legs are loose, but there's never nothing like in the cards or nothing super like next level collecting. It's always just the loose action figures. Very rarely does he have any weapons or anything, but he's very fair on his prices, and I've gotten some nice upgrades. Just like video games, there's variants to look out for. Particular Han Solo with got a big head or a small head, or Luke with the orange hair or the brown hair or whatever. So there's things like that. So I've gotten lucky on those, and there's probably some more pricier variants that I'm not even aware of that I have that when I got them, they were just, the other one. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, I still come across some figures from time to time, but it's not like it once was. I mean, pretty much anything that was going to get cleaned out of the mom's garage has kind of already done that, as far as Star Wars original action figures go.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Duke's second part of his question was, Derek, have you ever bought vintage Lego sets? So not vintage ones. I find I don't know if it's my area or if it's in general, but Lego stuff seems to go for pretty high prices, and if it's old or Star Wars, it seems to go for even more astronomical prices. I can't even believe.
Now, are you into like Harry Potter, or I have
No, not really
I
into
have
Harry
some,
Potter.
like,
I mean, I'd build
couple
the
of
sets.
real
I just
big.
like.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I actually came across a couple of pretty good Lego sets that I just don't feel like counting the fucking pieces. I actually got a fucking a big Halo one. It's not Lego though. It's like a
Mega Blocks.
Mega
Yeah.
blocks.
something else. Yeah, it's different. And that one goes for a lot. And it's like I'm just too lazy. I realize I'm lazy. It took these
Yeah.
Legos to let me know. Because it's like 1,200 pieces. Like I don't want to count all this shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, I'd
It's
enjoy
like,
doing
damn.
that. I would actually enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing
see?
that I'd be like, yeah, sit
Well,
down and
maybe
just
we'll
count Lego pieces.
maybe we could trade
Yeah,
some
I've bought Lego sets. I've bought a decent amount recently. My wife found a big group of, I think it was 17 sets for me for $70. I think that's what it was, or 14 sets for $70. I think it was, and put together most of them. I think there's only 2 left to put together, and run out of room to put them because I like to put them on a shelf assembled if possible. Right now they're just in a pile assembled because there's no room left, especially because the kids' toys are over there. And then I got my big remote control one too, but yeah, nothing really vintage. I'd like
As far as
to.
the tip goes, even even when they're not complete, like I found a little a yellow submarine. The Beatles, they had
Yeah.
like a little, an actual yellow submarine.
Yeah.
It was missing all kinds of shit, but it had all the main figures, and I found a price range. I sold it for like $50. The guy messaged me later, told me how happy he was with it. I mean, I clearly stated it was missing pieces. I just try to show like all the guys were actually complete. Somehow none of those pieces were missing. Like
There's also
they all had
websites you
little
can go
extra
to.
things to it.
There's websites you can go to and say, I need this piece, and this piece,
Yep.
and you can get those ordered. Or even if you get a set where the pieces were missing from new, or if you want to say that, Lego will send you replacements sometimes too, for free.
Okay.
Even, or you can
Hey,
order
there's
direct.
a hack.
Yeah.
I guess if they're discontinued, you might not be able to, because I think this like it was a
It would depend
discontinued
on
set. But
which part, but yeah.
sure, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had sets that were discontinued and they still gave me parts. It was
Right, because
sealed
probably
brand
some
new
of
and
the
they're still
parts are
missing.
probably some of them might
Interchangeable,
even
exactly. Yeah.
exactly.
Depends on how
Yeah.
weird. There was definitely some that they did not have available at all, but luckily none of those were missing. Or no, the ones that were missing of those I ordered off that other site, which was bricklink.com. That was the website where you just go in and here's your set, here's all the parts it uses, which ones you missing, and it'll hook you up with people basically like an eBay, but with a much better search to find the parts you need from locally. You can even say I want to order them all from the same person if possible, and that works out really well. Yeah, I had good luck ordering from there to finish my big remote control truck. So next question we've got is from Mighty Q Dog, and he says, here's one revised from DM conversation that maybe your listeners would like to hear an answer for. Hey, Dollar Dorks, with lots of people under quarantine, is now a good time to be a seller or a buyer on eBay?
Seller.
I'd say seller. I mean, if you're at home and you're in quarantine, you're gonna be buying.
Yeah.
Most people are gonna be buying. So the problem is there's just a
Well,
lot of
and
buyers.
I'll tell you, okay, and the conversation, and maybe he had a separate one with you, but he had messaged me when the quarantine was first starting, and I was when this first started, there was a lot of unknown. I was thinking more like, people probably aren't going to buy as much media. They're probably going to go for more practical stuff like home items and stuff like that. And no, I should have actually messaged Eric back, and sorry I didn't, Eric, because I've made a ton of money off media. So since then, I thought people were going to be a lot more conservative with their money than they have been, and and I don't know why I thought that, because people are stupid. But
I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah,
to be
me
honest
too.
with
yeah, I
you.
thought they were going to be way more conservative. So I thought, if anything, I thought prices were going to drop, and it's actually, it's been the contrary. Everything has gone up, and that's shocking. Like, I mean, I can understand why, hand sanitizer and toilet paper are going up if you need it and you can't get it. I get that, but do you need a Wiimote? You know what I mean? I guess if you need it, right?
Yeah, I'm
So I
guessing
don't
to
know.
entertain kids or just because you're
Yeah,
bored
I
or
know
maybe
it
some
makes sense.
exercise.
Well,
Like you
or
need
not
get people and
everybody's.
stuff.
I mean, like, I've been working. Nothing's really changed for me. So I mean, I guess
Same
there's other
here.
people
Yeah.
out there. They just don't have much of a social life. So they're like, or they got kids at home. They're trying to entertain them.
Yeah.
My
So
kids are my
yeah,
son's home all day, so
yeah.
that's more work that way. I'm trying to find back to see. I know Eric asked me this as well, but I don't remember what my even answer was. But I think I was on the same side as you, where I didn't think there'd be that many people buying, but I don't remember. I can't remember where this conversation even was, or what day it was, what month it was.
Well, there was a little bit of a dip though. Like when everything first started to go down, like
Yeah.
and everyone started to get quarantine locked down, there was a drop. Like people stopped
Okay.
buying stuff. But then after about a week of, I think, everyone realized, oh, I'm sick of all the stuff in my house. I need
Right.
to go
See,
and go get something. And then all of a sudden the sales took off at like the week or
See,
2 weeks after.
sorry, when he asked me, it was during kind of the hoarding phase where people were out buying a lot of groceries, and that
That's a
that
good
Okay.
point.
panic
That's
buying
when
was
he asked
happening.
me too. Yeah.
That's actually when he asked me. So my thinking was, I don't know, man. People are buying groceries. If you can't eat it, I can't imagine people are buying extra shit they don't need right now. And that might have been true for that time, because my eBay sales skyrocketed after that, but not during that month, or
Yeah, that's a good point
couple
for
weeks when we
sure.
talked. So I think once everybody started realizing that the grocery stores were replenishing supplies, and it wasn't going to be, apocalypse wasn't coming, I think maybe everybody's adjusted their thinking, and
Yeah,
now they're
and more
just buying
people
stuff like,
home. Maybe
right.
they're like, I'm bored. I'm gonna turn on my Wii. Shit, it doesn't work. I gotta get another one. Because of those
Yep.
5 modded Xboxes that I sold, 2 or 3 of the people said they already had an Xbox, but it had died. It stopped reading discs, or one of them I think wouldn't power on or something. So that would actually make sense if it was people who are getting out the old video games and it's not working anymore, so they want to go get another one, or they've played all their games and now they want to get more games. Yeah, that makes sense. But again, I think selling would be much better side of it to be on. Buying, you're just going to be competing with everybody else at this point.
Well, you're gonna get
But it's
hosed too,
still
because I
more convenient.
guarantee it's gonna get the price is gonna fall again once everything kind of normalizes.
Yeah, that's true. So if
So
you buy something that you're going to regret
yeah,
or
yeah.
want to sell later.
So if you
Yeah.
got Wii stuff, sell it for sure. As Chris was saying, if you got Wii stuff, get it out there.
Yeah,
It's
Eric,
going.
sell your
Sell it
complete in
now.
box sealed Wii already. That's more
Yeah,
of a
you don't
collector
need it.
item. Still, he's got a complete in box sealed blue Wii, the Skylander one.
Oh gosh, you gotta get like $400 or $500 for that right now.
Yeah, and it's hard to set a price on that one because there aren't many of them sealed. Set your own price.
Yep. Just put it up there.
I saw myself, a collector in the States, trying to complete his Xbox collection during the quarantine, and he
Yep.
forked out as much money as I would have asked. I could have asked more, and he would have done it. He's paid
Well, yeah,
instead of waiting a
essentially he
day for me
paid,
to
yeah,
answer. Instead of waiting for a
right.
day
He
for me
paid
to
extra.
answer shipping, he paid extra for a friend of his in Quebec to ship it to him in the
Yeah.
States.
Yeah.
All right, we got another question. Darren at one Darren underscore. Hey guys, love the podcast. Do you guys ever print shipping labels at home? Any tips for avoiding the post office? And I know he's Canadian. He lives near Haji. But you
I
do,
can't
right?
speak for Canada, but every single time for me, unless it's some sort of offline deal that doesn't have anything to do with eBay. And even then, if they send me money via PayPal, what I like to do is have them send me like $1 goods and services so I can print a label. And now I don't even think you have to do that anymore. Before, in order to print a label, it had to be through the goods and service function. So I'd have them, like, let's say it was $100. I'd say send me a 99 friends and family and send me $1 goods and service, and I'll just pay the fee on that, and then I'll print a label and it'll save me money. It'll end up saving me money no matter what.
Yeah.
But I don't even have to do that anymore. But there was a time with pay. I don't do a lot of straight PayPal mail, printing.
That was more of your
But
Instagram selling time, right?
yes, Instagram selling, or like if we do a trade or something, sometimes I'd say send me $1 and I'll send you $1. That way we can print out labels and save some money. So that's another option if you want to do that. But I don't even think you have to do that anymore. But there was a time where you kind of had to do that if you wanted to buy the label through PayPal. But yes, every time I use, because you get a discount through eBay. So why would you not? Now I don't know if it's different in Canada,
I have
but
no idea. I've never tried it. I think I went to do it one time and there was some reason
We
I did not. But it's
we
quite a while
definitely do
ago.
get a discount for sure.
Okay.
yeah.
But you
It's
and I
not
both have a business account with Canada Post that's free. So you go to Canada Post website and sign up for a business account. You get a free business account, and that basically gets you your tracking for free.
Yeah, basically. But at the same time, you can do that on the eBay. Like that's the same discount you're getting on the
Gotcha.
eBay. So there's not really a benefit either way. Either way
But
works.
he is trying to avoid the post office. So if he's trying to avoid the post office, he probably wants like the at-home pickup stuff, which I've never done with Canada Post.
I've never done that either. So, but the
Well,
nice thing about
I don't. Yeah, I drop
You
off
don't
my
do that with.
packages.
You don't
the
do
nice
that.
No, I drop off.
Okay.
No, I drop them off. I have trust issues, man. I don't want to give it to some driver and have him throw it in the truck and then take it to the exact same building that I drive past. You know what I mean? I might as well just drop it off real quick. It doesn't take that long, but that's
He's probably
personal
trying to avoid
preference.
the post office because it's busy, is my guess.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Then maybe you could see, like, if you guys have a way to have them pick it up, print your label at home. I mean, and I know in the States we could, you can get your post, the post off, mailman, the letter carrier, whatever you want to call them, they could pick it up. You print your own label.
Also, if you print your own label, a lot of the times what you can do is if there's a long line, you could just it depends on how comfortable you are doing. You can just kind of cut the line and say, "Hey, this is good to go. Can I just drop it off?" And you just drop on the counter and leave. So you're in there for like less than a minute.
Prepaid, yeah.
It's prepaid.
And some post offices have a section too that you can drop. Like, I know in the state, I don't know about in Canada, but in the States, sometimes they have a door. You can just dump them right through this little window, and it drops right down a chute, and it's there. I kind of I prefer having them sign it in, but I have the time. You know what I mean? They'll scan it, and I'll get a receipt right there. But I have the time for that. But my local post office, I've had them packages before and just walked right out. I trust them. I have, so as far as that goes, yeah, you could do that. And they always try to encourage me to do it, but I'm like, I'll wait,
Yeah.
So I'm searching Canada Post parcel pickup, and you go to their website, you search for Canada or search for Canada Post parcel pickup, and they have a spot where you can enter your postal code and check if they do it in your area. It does show that they do scheduled pickup in my area and on-demand pickup in my area, and then gives the option to schedule a pickup. It says convenient parcel pickup services for businesses of all sizes. Request a pickup, but there's no details on if it costs extra or anything like that. So I mean, it's definitely worth trying if you have something you want to do it with. I have nothing to do it with right now, so it's not really worth it to me, but you probably just need to use your Canada Post business account, which is free.
Yeah.
So give it a shot. Let us know. I'm curious as well. I probably won't do it because my post office is pretty close and it's in a Shoppers Drug Mart, so I usually end up picking up a few groceries while I'm there, but
Yeah, same.
and it's also I'd consider it a pretty clean location too.
Yeah.
All right. So our next question. Oh, you said hashtag thanks. Next question's from Buried on Mars at buried_on_Mars. What items have you bought to flip but ended up keeping because you liked it or found a use for it? What do you think, Josh? Anything you bought to flip but kept?
I had those. I found component cables for the original Xbox.
Yeah.
I was gonna flip those, but I was like, I plugged them in to try them out, and I like the look of it too much, so I ended up keeping them.
Especially on HD TV.
Yeah.
I had a set of them, and I had a spare set. So I have a set, and I've had a second set that I sold on eBay for like 60, 65 bucks, something like that. And I have some third-party ones. Those were the monster ones, but I have some third-party ones still.
Yeah.
They're some real cheap ones.
I also bought a Brawler 64, like the Retro Fighter Brawler 64 controller. Someone was selling that under the Kickstarter price because they had that issue. They reissued all the original ones to the original backers. So someone was selling the original one for much less than they were going for because they were getting another one. So like, oh, whatever. No, it's the see-through atomic purple one.
Because I have a spare housing for the gray one. Like the actual plastics. I bought one through the Kickstarter, and then they contacted me. No, then I sold it on eBay because Rocket Sauce and Musty were selling theirs on eBay, and they got good money for it. So I sold mine as well. Actually, why am I thinking? Yeah, and then P1 also sold his, and his went to the same guy as mine did. But then afterward, the company contacted me and said, "Hey, what do you want for your repair?" And I said, "Give me the parts, and I'll fix it myself." Little did I know that if you did the other option, they'd send you another controller just for free that had the fix. But that aside, I have the parts sitting in a box here, I think right there, for the gray one that fixes the issue.
I could just switch the casing; doesn't matter to me.
If you want it, it's yours. I have no use for it.
You just make your own controller.
Yeah, I don't want to do a circuit board.
Anyways, I bought that to flip, and then I just kept it. I've just been every once in a while I'll bring it out and play with it once in a while. So
yeah, I bought another one later on, and I bought the Hori one too, both in clear green.
You bought the official Hori one or the retro the remake of the Hori one?
The remake. Sorry, the remake Hori one. Yes, you're right. What's it called? The Retro 64?
Something like that, yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Sorry, not the original Hori one. That one's expensive as hell.
See, that I bought a couple of years ago because before all this renaissance of controllers was happening, and I found a cheap one for like $60 Canadian on eBay from Japan. So I was like, whatever, I'll just buy it now.
I almost bought that at that price, but I don't play N64 enough. Meanwhile, I bought two other ones that were basically worked out to $60. But is Chris taking his belt off or what?
Yeah, actually, I was. That's very just. I'm sitting at a weird angle, and it's kind of digging into me. So I was like, I'll take it off. There you go.
All right.
See?
Anything you got?
Very
Chris, anything you bought to flip and then decide to keep?
Yes. Well, I'll just go with two things because it go too long. But the number one thing I bought this VCR at a thrift store. It's a JVC Super VHS. It's like model HR-S6 S7500U if you really want to look it up. And it sells for like $350. So I'm like, dude, this is gonna be a great flip. And then I get it home and I plug it in and I'm like, God damn, this picture looks great. And it has S video output and
okay.
And then I'm like, wait a minute, why am I selling this again? Like, I was getting ready to list it and I'm about to take pictures and I'm cleaning it off and I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, this is a high-end VCR. Why? What am I doing? No. So yeah, now that's my main VCR. I love it. It's great. So that was definitely one that I bought to flip and didn't. And the other thing is I was at a yard sale and I'm chatting with this guy and he's like, yeah, I got sealed games up in the top. And I was on this hell of a sealed game rush. So now I'm hearing sealed games. I'm like, dude, I'm going to make some money. And he brings down this GoldenEye. And, I'm thinking, oh, I could probably get like $500 for it. And then I get it home and I'm like, I love GoldenEye. Why wouldn't I just keep it? I'm a video game collector. What the hell am I doing? Like, so I just kept it. I mean, because I mean,
the ever struggle of a collector.
I have a problem with sealed games. If I can't play it, why am I keeping it?
well, but see, I have them open. Some things are just for looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I get that. I just don't.
Well,
do
the
that.
thing is okay. I sold my $7,000 Super Mario, world. I
Yeah.
mean, I've been good. I sold my $2,000 Super Metroid. So, you know what I mean? Like, these are things I could have easily talked myself into, considering how much I paid for them. I could have easily been like, why wouldn't you keep them? Look how cheap they were. But I did the right thing. So this one, I'm just like, okay, it's only worth $500. Why am I selling this now? I like it. I'm just gonna keep it. So I just talked myself in there. There it sits on the shelf, and every time I look at it, I got no regrets. It looks great.
That's good.
Yeah, and I mean, if I ever
happy.
change, it could still sell. I mean, but I don't see that happening.
I cannot think of anything that I bought to flip and then ended up keeping, unless it's like a unless it's like a controller that's something small that I'm like, I might as well keep it. That's the only thing I can really think of. Everything else I've intended to buy or to keep or to sell and have followed through, I think, or I'm just too lazy and haven't sold it yet is the other option. But
everything Derek buys to sell just gets put in a box under the futon and stays there.
Under the futons, all the Skylanders.
Oh, sorry. My point stands.
All the Skylanders, my son would freak out if we ever got rid of those. Yeah, that would be a meltdown. That's nostalgia to him now because he played that game when he was like 2 or 3 years old. Now he's 6, right? Like that's one of the first games we ever played with him. So it's kind of nostalgia to me and my wife as well because that got him playing games.
Yeah.
So that was a question from Kevin, but the follow-up question from Bill to that was, and what dead stock have you decided to keep for yourself after having no luck on eBay? Anything, Josh?
Not anything I keep. Anything that if I have something and it's just not moving, I work at a dump.
Well, you also take your job too. And then you also sell at Barry Game Exchange, and we've sold at other game exchanges, so there's that. Options.
If there's stuff, but if there's stuff that just like I don't want to keep it and I can't sell it, it either goes back to Value Village or it goes to the dump. It's just not like I have too much stuff around here to potentially sell anyway. I don't need more stuff just sitting around.
Yeah, one thing that I can think of like that is the DVD remotes for original Xbox. I don't use them.
Yeah.
I don't know one that does use them. They used to be required to play DVDs on the Xbox, but if it's modded, you don't.
Yeah.
So those things I donate to the thrift store.
Yeah. Yeah, I see those all the time. They're probably all from you.
Probably. I've donated at least 6, probably more. Dead stock. What about you, Chris? Any dead stock that you decide to keep?
Yeah, so when you buy big lots of video games, typically you try to bundle things. So my initial goal was every time I bought an NES lot, I was going to put the NES to the side. I'm talking like the toaster. I was going to put it to the side and wait until I got a Super Mario Duck Hunt and a Zapper to go with it. And then I was going to bundle it up and sell that separately. And so sometimes I had the stuff and sometimes I didn't. Okay. But in the meantime, I started putting them on the shelf. Like I put the NESs on the bottom of my main NES shelf. I put it at the bottom just to get them out of the way. And then one day it actually reached all the way across, and I was like, "Oh, I really like the way that looks." So I was like, "Hey, you know what? I mean, they didn't actually cost me anything."
So then you took the Mario Duck Hunts and you built a shelf specifically for them.
Well, see, initially it started off, they were on a shelf. I used them at the tail end of, as I was finishing up my collection.
They were filler to
they were filler.
That's funny.
Right. They were filler. And then as I get another game, I'd pull it off and, I'd take them out. And then I put them on a different shelf just to get them out of the way. And one day I looked at that and I thought, what'd be cool is if I had a full bookcase of those. And there they go. But I actually,
Once a year on Mario Day, you make a design out of them, right?
Yes, I make a big old Mario. But yeah, so yeah, there it goes. Those two things came from dead stock or whatever the question was.
Yeah.
Yeah, dead stock, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Next section is suggested content. Any podcast, movie, TV show, YouTube channel, video, anything you suggest people check out. For me, I'm suggesting McMillions, which is a documentary series about people basically scamming the McDonald's Monopoly game. I think we heard about it from Kevin, and I don't know if he heard about it from someone else before, but maybe it was Haji, or maybe I'm just remembering wrong. But I got that, and I've been watching it. I'm only 2 episodes in, but they're really good. The first episode was better. The second episode was a little bit. It seems like they're trying to piece together information as they're doing it, and they basically wanted the off factor, and it was pretty good. And there's still I think 4 episodes left in it, and it seems like it's really neat story.
I actually read the article. That was an article initially. It was like I don't know if it was by the Time. I think it was the New York Times or maybe the Washington Post did this big article, and they released it online. Yeah. And the only reason it ended up my feed is I think Ben Affleck or Matt Damon, one of them, whoever optioned it to make that series, they had responded to it, and somebody had responded to them, and somehow it ended up at my feed. And I read the article. And after reading the article, I haven't watched the series yet, but I remember thinking, like, I don't know what they could have added to it. It was so thorough. Like, I feel like I've already watched it, but I mean, I almost wish I didn't read the article. I'd probably be more interested in watching the show, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
Where are you watching that, Derek?
Somebody sent me it, but it is on my Plex for you there.
Okay,
Josh.
if it's on Plex, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's on my Plex.
Okay.
So you can check it out there. Chris, if you want it, let me know. We'll get it. But it is on HBO.
It's on HBO. It's
on HBO. It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, it is on Prime?
Yes.
I don't know if it's for Canada or not. But
I don't know if it. Well, I saw it in Amazon Prime when I was going through the listings earlier, or maybe I saw it on Hulu. No, actually, I saw it on Hulu, so I don't know. But then again, sometimes Hulu you have to pay extra, and sometimes Prime you got to pay extra. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did see it on Hulu earlier when I was going through trying to find something to watch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's neat. I can't wait to watch more of it. And the actual FBI guys are on it being interviewed, and one of them's a real character, and you can tell that he had a hell of a fun time doing this whole thing. It was his first undercover operation.
For McDonald's Monopoly.
Yeah. Chris, what about you? Anything suggest? Don't say.
Yeah, I've been watching these guys. They're a pretty good channel. It's called Gaming Off the Grid, and it's basically they're mostly like a sit down kind of format where they go over different topics. So it's mostly just not a lot of editing, a lot of editing in it, but they always kind of go over like a retro song they like or retro album or a beer, and they always talk about beers they like. So it's kind of a combination of like a lot of the things that we all are into, games, movies, beer, music. And so they're pretty cool dudes. I like their channel a lot. And then another one that I've recommended before, I think, I just can't remember, but definitely if you're into horror movies, watch Dead Meat. They have specifically they have this series called The Kill Count. I might have recommended this before, but I can't recommend it enough. It's so good.
Okay.
Cool.
And the Gaming Off the Grid guys, I've heard of people talk about them because they were at conventions before.
Yes. They're really cool dudes, man. I like these guys a lot. Definitely and their videos go by quick. And like I said, it's mostly just a sit-down format where they both are facing the camera, kind of talking about things. But, like they have a passion for the hobby, and they definitely have a passion for, the things they're talking about. So, they convey it well. Definitely worth checking out.
Josh,
cool.
Anything?
2 things. I watched a Netflix series on Netflix, obviously. It's a docuseries called Drive to Survive. It's about Formula One. I'm not really a racing guy. I've played like Forza games or whatever, or Gran Turismo, whatever. But I actually got introduced to this through my brother-in-law. He sent me a text and said, "Hey, any chance you have a spare Xbox sitting around?" Or he said PlayStation 2. in Gran Turismo really wanted to play a racing game. And I said, I'll do you one better. So I had an Xbox and like the steering wheel attachment and Forza 4, and I sent that over to him so he could play that during the lockdown with his kids. And he said, "Oh, I've been watching this series called Drive to Survive. It got me into wanting to race." So I was
I've heard
like,
other people
okay.
talk about that, especially when they say the Ford versus Ferrari movie, and then they say that. I can't remember if it was Kevin or someone else, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's really good. It's not your typical. It kind of shows more like behind the scenes of what it takes to run a Formula One team,
Okay.
and like the inner workings of like or the interdynamics of the teams, like versus the driver versus management versus team, and how they kind of like poach people from one side to one side. So you don't have to really be into racing to really get into like, it's like a reality show, but it's around racing. It's really well done. If you like watching Top Gear or like the Grand Tour, it's this very similar kind of cinematography. You're getting the slow-mo shots and the racing, and yeah, it's really cool. 2 seasons, so they did 2018, 2019 seasons, and I'm assuming they're gonna do one for 2020 if that ever gets off the ground, because this whole thing is kind of throwing everything for a loop right now. And for podcasts, they probably don't need my shoutouts, but they're huge enough as it is. It's not a gaming podcast. It's one of the only non-gaming podcasts I listen to. It's called Hamish and Andy. They're Australian comedians. I've watched them forever. They used to do like a TV show called Gap Year, where they go around, they do stupid things all over the world. Very interesting stuff. And anyways, this is a podcast they've been doing for, I think this is their second year or third year. It's just a fun, lighthearted. It's like 40 to 45 minutes. I think most is an hour. It's just lighthearted. It's something you can just kind of put on. They have designated segments to go through it. They try to do like one of the things they do is that your light?
Yep, my light fell down. The duct tape didn't hold.
They do like power moves. So like that's one of their sections is power moves, to things you can do to one up another person.
Okay.
But just like in a very slow way. You could use them for like, buying and selling tips, to like, if you wanted to. Some of them are pretty good. And my friends and I do those against each other once in a while, and then we'll call a power move. And I don't know, it's just stupid stuff. It's very interesting. I like it. It's a lighthearted laugh on Thursdays.
Okay. Cool.
And they have a YouTube show, obviously, and TV shows. And I think Hamish is the host of Lego Masters.
Okay, I've been meaning to watch that show.
I don't know if he's Lego Masters Australia, but
yeah,
I know
there's two of them. I thought there was UK and America now, but I don't know for sure.
But he's from Australia, so I'm assuming it's Lego Masters Australia.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
That's cool.
All right. Cool. Well, that's the whole show. We're clocked in at just over 2 hours, which is pretty good for us.
That's pretty short, actually.
Especially with 3 people. Yeah, exactly. And after not recording for how many months? 5 months or something? Yeah. Well, everyone can check out Josh. He's at Creepleet. That's Creep1337 on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And he also has the Not So Special podcast,
which has a worse track record than this one.
I heard that last episode you did it in a car.
Oh, I know. Garbage.
Well, go check him out. And Chris is at CWR2, the number 2, Twitter and Instagram. Lots of good stuff on your Instagram. You tend to do more Twitter than you used to now, eh?
Yeah, I guess.
Pickups and stuff.
I try to spread it out. Yeah, I put more pickups on Twitter than I normally. I like interacting with the club, and it seems like they like it. So
lots of the club on Twitter. Okay, I am Derek of Two Dorks. That's TWO Dorks on YouTube, DEGE13 most places, Twitter, blah blah blah. And we are all friends that kind of met through the Cartridge Club. That's cartridgeclub.org, community of gamers, content creators, and collectors. Thank you. Cha-ching.
Have you guys ever watched the movie Contagion?
No.
Yes.
A lot about it.
Yeah.
You should watch
Yeah.
it because it's a lot of the same. There's a lot of similarities between the stuff that's happening there.
Well, they
Obviously,
haven't
that's
nuked the town.
well, that's a little bit different, yeah. But that's a lot more of a serious serious take on it. But like stuff like the fake guys popping up, like the Jude Law character in that movie sets himself up as like the Messiah. He's cured himself of this disease, and I will sell you the cure, or because he bought stocks in this company, that kind of thing. And there's a lot of like
shit, UFO stuff.
Anyway, yeah, that was pretty awesome. What time are we living in where that isn't like something that's just like nothing? Imagine if that would have came out like 20 years ago. That would have broke everything, like internet, TV.
People
Now
they just send it out on a Wednesday, and it's like,
oh, fuck it. Yeah, we got a
2020.
UFO, you know. No
Wednesday
big deal.
2020.
Right. It's no big deal. Let's talk about COVID some more. It's like, wait a minute, what? Fucking aliens, dude. I gotta go, man. My dinner's ready. It's good seeing you, Derek, and good meeting you.
Yep.
Josh. Whatever your name is.
No. I was reaching for something.
He moves off to the side so you can't hear him say the wrong name.
Checks his notes.
Gosh.